Giant, large SUVs. We Americans absolutely love them, even though about 50% of us can't properly park them in a spot. But yeah, there is no doubt that we love our SUVs here in the United States. So much so that Lincoln Motor Company has decided to stop making sedans like the legendary Continental and go all in on SUVs. That said, there is one SUV that will always be Lincoln's pride and joy. My name is Omar, and this is the Lincoln Navigator Black Label, which just means it's more special and, of course, more expensive. So yeah, the Lincoln Navigator. This is the Cadillac Escalade's arch nemesis, and while Cadillac is busy going all in on power and throwing in a 682 horsepower supercharged V8 in the Escalade, Lincoln is taking a different approach. They are focusing on making the Navigator even more luxurious with the Black Label trim. Now, Lincoln's Black Label trim has been around for a couple of years, and for 2022, the Navigator is getting two new themes called Central Park and Invitation. So what's so luxurious about Central Park? Well, if you're talking about the real one, not much really. It's nice during the daytime, but it's not the safest place to be, and it can be a little sketchy at nighttime. But of course, Lincoln sees it differently. According to Lincoln, they say in their press release, with rich contrasts that strike the perfect balance between the lavish organic oasis and the surrounding skyscrapers, the calm in the chaos. The Central Park theme was inspired by one of the first and most famous parks in the world. To that end, the Navigator with the Central Park theme has an exterior paint job that's finished in Manhattan green, keeping with this New York City vibe. And I gotta say, it looks really good, especially if you get it with these 22-inch 14-spoke black wheels that won't cost you extra. The grille here on the Black Label is, well, blacked out, although there is a giant chrome piece right underneath it which you can use as a mirror. By the way, the Lincoln emblem on the front lights up at night and it looks really cool. Let's see if I remember to get a shot of it at nighttime to show you. And if I didn't, I'm sorry. Now, of course, as an owner, you're not that concerned with the luxury touches outside because you spend most of your time inside. To keep with the Central Park theme, the Black Label Navigator gets a mostly leather-wrapped interior that's colored in urban green. And I gotta say, it actually looks really nice when the light hits it right. You also have dark walnut open pore wood trim, and on a few sections of it, Lincoln has etched in the pathways of Central Park and the streets of New York City. But you're not just buying this expensive Navigator Black Label to show off how much money you have. You're buying it to move your family around in the lap of luxury. And they will definitely appreciate it. Hop in the second row and you're working with 41 inches of legroom back here. I'm about 6 foot tall. That is my seating position. As you can see, I have a good amount of room, and you can also slide the second row forward and back if you need to share some legroom with the third row passengers. Now, when it comes to luxury, the Black Label will give you heated and ventilated seats in the second row, which is pretty solid. And if you really want to spoil your family, you can pay an extra $625 and give them this central console where they can control their massaging seats and really kick back and relax. They can also use the screen to control their climate temperature or turn on the heated and cooled seats. And if you really want to be good to them, you can throw on this Lincoln Play rear seat entertainment system, which isn't working for me, obviously, since I don't have the plan, but it has Amazon Fire TV built right in. Not to mention, they also have the ability to open and close the sunroof shade right from here if they really want to get that whole viewing experience. That said, I bet third row passengers feel really left out while the second row passengers sit here and enjoy their entertainment system and massaging seats. So let's go back there and see what they're working with. To get into the third row, you just pull this latch over here and the second row kind of lifts up and slides forward. Reason being, you can do this while having a car seat right there and you can get yourself into the third row. And once you get back here, you have 36.1 inches of legroom, and it's actually pretty spacious and quite comfortable back here. Lincoln didn't cheap out in the third row. The seats back here are just as comfortable and contoured and really well designed, and someone can sit back here for a long ride. Not to mention the third row seats recline, so you can really find the right position for yourself back here. Let's check out the cargo space. Now, you can access the cargo area in two ways. One is just by popping this glass open for easy and quick access, or if you want full access, there's another button right down here, and that opens it up to 19 cubic feet behind the third row, 57.5 behind the second row with the second row down, and a massive 103.3 with all the rows folded. So you have plenty of room for your massive Costco runs. So yeah, your family and friends will be really comfortable and enjoy their time in the back of your Navigator, but what about you as a driver? Well, first up, I gotta say that this Black Label interior is really, really nice. Like really one of the best from an American luxury brand. These seats are insanely comfortable and you can adjust them in a million different ways to find the perfect position for yourself. And if it comes to comfort and these seats alone, this is where the Navigator outshines the Escalade. I think the Escalade seats are a little bit on the harder side. Now, of course, you get heated and cooled front seats, which, of course, no surprise, this is a Black Label. You also get a heated steering wheel to keep your hands nice and toasty, which, again, no surprise there as well. And I don't know why I'm building this up to be like, surprise, but it's not. You also have massaging seats up here. I mean, just imagine if the second row seats had massaging seats and the front passenger and the driver didn't. That would really make this an SUV to be chauffeured around in. No comfort for you, driver. You don't get to massage yourself. I mean, that doesn't sound right. As for tech, you're working with this massive 13.2-inch tablet display that has the Sync 4 infotainment system. It's pretty straightforward and nothing too complicated. Of course, you get wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. You also get a native navigation system if you're one of the 2 people out there that still uses the native navigation system from a car company. The gauge cluster here is pretty solid, nothing too fancy in terms of a full screen map view or anything like that, but you do have some nice animations when you switch through drive modes, and yeah, that's about it. As for driver assist tech, you have all the assists and alerts that you'll need. You've got adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, Lincoln's active glide system, which is basically their version of Blue Cruise. And then camera game-wise, you've got yourself a front view, a rear view, a 360 surround view, so there should be no problem parking this thing, even though most people out there will still mess up. And again, all of that is pretty much standard. Everything that I just mentioned is free $99 if you go for the Black Label, and that's because it is pretty expensive. How expensive? Well, the base Navigator starts at $79,725, and then you can move up to the Reserve for around $92,000. Then you have this, the Black Label. This starts at $109,255, and as tested here, you're looking at right under $122,000. Comparatively, the Escalade starts around the same price tag and tops out at $110,000 for the Platinum, and of course you can go for the Escalade V, which is around $150,000. The newcomer, the Grand Wagoneer, the more luxurious of the 2 Wagoneers, starts at around $88,000. And yeah, if you want to be unpatriotic, you can go for the Germans. You have the BMW X7, which starts at around $78,000, and then you have the Mercedes-Benz GLS, which starts at around $82,000. But let's stick to America for this video. Now, while the Escalade sticks to being a proud and large American SUV and only offers V8 engine choices, the Navigator goes the route of a V6, a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6, making 440 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. It's made it to a 10-speed automatic transmission, and overall, it's a pretty solid combination. The Escalade makes 20 less horsepower and 50 pound less torque, but when it comes to this weight class and size, that doesn't really matter. When it comes to 0 to 60, the Navigator will do it in 5.3 seconds, while the Escalade will do it in 5.6. I'm talking about the non-Escalade V, that will do it in 5.6. And nobody's really racing these two going, haha, I'm 0.3 seconds quicker than you. Now, the Jeep Grand Wagoneer, or just Grand Wagoneer as they want you to call it, offers both a 471 horsepower V8 and a twin-turbo inline-6, making 510 horsepower. But yeah, in terms of ride quality, the Navigator is what you would expect from a large SUV to drive like. It's extremely smooth and extremely comfortable. It has something called Road Preview that reads the road ahead and adjusts various aspects of the Navigator to smoothen out the overall ride. And I'm sure it does that, but it still has that giant, wafty feeling that you get with large SUVs. The Escalade, I feel, is a little bit more planted, but the Navigator and the Grand Wagoneer definitely like to bounce around a little bit more. And believe me, most of that is apparent when you're sitting in the second and third row. You as a driver might not feel much movements, but the people in the back will definitely feel the size and weight of this thing. As for the handling, it's what you would expect something like this to handle. I mean, there really isn't any other way to describe this. This is big, like really big. Again, the Escalade might do the handling thing a little bit better, but the Grand Wagoneer and the Navigator, you just don't want to make any sudden movements. But yeah, in terms of comfort and cabin quietness, this is a pretty solid large luxury SUV. No one out there is going to show up to a track with a large luxury SUV that costs more than $100,000. They're using this just to get around town and show off the fact that they can provide this level of comfort and convenience for their family and friends. As a daily driver living with this on a daily basis, the experience has been pretty easy over the last week that I've been driving it. Oh wait, let's check out my daily ownership highlights before I give you my final thoughts. And let's start off by checking out how many cup holders you have, because you're going to need them if you have a large family. You have a total of 9. You have 2 in the front right there, and then you swing around to the second row and you have 2 right here in the center console, 2 right down there. And then check this out, come around to the third row. We're going to look at it from the back. You have 1 on that side and 2 on that side. Apparently somebody who's sitting on the left side gets thirstier. Here are the keys to the Navigator. The keychain here is provided by Shinola. I don't know what else you could do with this. Door close sound from the outside, and the inside, solid. Charging game wise, in the front you have a wireless charger, a USB-C and A port right there. Second row passengers have a USB-C and A port and a household outlet. Third row passengers get a USB-A port on each side. And of course, let's do an indicator and horn sound test. Indicator first. Nice. Now for the horn sound. Oh yeah, that's solid. So, should you get yourself a Navigator? Yes, if you're a Ford and Lincoln fan, you're gonna absolutely love this. Compared to the Escalade and the Grand Wagoneer, I gotta say that Lincoln does do luxury a little bit better. While Cadillac is throwing massive V8 power, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love that, luxury-wise, the Navigator Black Label feels a step above every Escalade trim. And the same goes for the Grand Wagoneer. The Navigator is just better at showing off American luxury. Nonetheless, I'm not gonna lie, I've been a long-time fan of the Escalade, and if I were to ever buy a large luxury SUV, it would be the Escalade V. I would get it over the BMW X7, the Mercedes-Benz GLS, I would get it over the Grand Wagoneer, and as much as I really like the Navigator, I would still go for the Escalade. Either way, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. My handle is @OmarDrives. I'm more popular on TikTok than I am on any other platform, obviously. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace. By the way, I just realized that I didn't mention this throughout the video, but this Revel sound system in here absolutely slaps. It's really, really good. One of the best in the luxury segment for sure.